你燒溫take my photo then not to 嚇。誒，而家咧劇啲喺你then not to what？then not to post up。啊，咁呢啲燒溫。Stop and do. Consumer talking about this. That's why I'm so happy.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Progress Singapore Party's last rally for this general election 2025. Thank you all for coming. I'll be your MC for tonight. My name is Leon. I hope everyone is in a really high spirits because we have some excellent speeches with real substance and some very, very good speakers for you lined up tonight. And before we start, I'd also just like to give a big shout out and thanks to all the volunteers, members, and also all the police officers who are here today who are going to keep us safe. So let's put our hands together and thank them. And before we get started, I would like to invite all of you to take out your phones and follow us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. So our handles are printed on the backdrop behind me. So please take out your phone and take a photo of that. And I hope you'll follow us on the social media platforms because we will be posting content over the course of tonight. So please do follow us on those platforms to read our content. And please also visit our merchandise store and buy some of our merchandise items. If you'd like to support us, we'd be very grateful for that. And included in those merchandise items are the baby otters and the grown-up otters as well. Right, the otter family, which is the PSP mascot, as you can see here. Now I'd like to start the event. Let's get going. And I'd like to start by inviting our candidates onto the stage. So please put your hands together and welcome the 13 candidates of the Progress Singapore Party onto the stage. Let's hear it for our candidates. Let's hear it for our candidates from the Progress Singapore Party. Thank you for that warm welcome, and I hope you are all in high spirits. We're going to start our speeches now, and the first speaker for tonight is the CEO of a regional risk consulting company. He has held leadership positions in various multinational companies and has also served on the management committee of the NUS Society for many years. Please put your hands together to welcome our candidate for Marymount SMC, Jeffrey Koo.
Good evening, West Coast Jurong West. Good evening, Singapore. It feels so good to be back. This was where I first stood in 2020, West Coast GRC. This is where the spark was lit. And though tonight I stand before you as a candidate for Marymount SMC, West Coast Jurong West will always be home for us in the Progress Singapore Party. Because this is where we made our stand, where we challenge the status quo, where we prove that Singaporeans are not afraid to speak up, to stand tall, and to ask for better. Do you remember recently we have a corrupt minister from the party we once trusted? And tonight, we are back. Back with stronger resolve. Back with clearer eyes. Back with Dr. Tan Cheng Bock. A man who for 26 years served with integrity, who dared to challenge even his own party when it lost its way, and who came out of retirement not for personal gain, but because he could not stay silent while Singaporeans struggle. Dr. Tan built PSP because he believed in serving the people, because when the ground shifted, he stood firm. And he now returns with Leong Man Wai, Hazel Phua, to finish what he started. Ladies and gentlemen, PSP was not born yesterday. It was Dr. Tan who championed the use of CPF for children's education. It was Dr. Tan who pushed for free HDB parking on Sundays and public holidays to strengthen family bonds. It was Dr. Tan who stood firmly against the nominated Member of Parliament scheme, arguing that every voice in Parliament must be elected by the people and accountable to the people. These weren't just policies, they were acts of care. They reflected what leadership should look like. And today, many of those ideas are claimed by others. But remember, they began with a voice, a voice of conscience, not convenience. Now we hear about sheltered walkways, new train lines, and home improvements. But these are the natural work of URA, LTA, and HDB. Let us not confuse development with direction. In Marymount, my opponent, Ms. Gan Xiao Huang, speaks of estate upgrading, of active aging centres. She paints a glossy picture of progress. But let me ask you this. Are we truly progressing? If our elderly need more centers to stay occupied because their children are just too exhausted by long hours and high costs, are we truly listening? If dialogues are held, but the same problems echo back for years without any resolution. She says, I am not alone, referring to the GRC level support. But Marymount is a single member constituency. And in an SMC, you cannot outsource leadership. You must carry it yourself. You must face the people, not just in the good times, but when things are hard. Leadership in an SMC is not about slogans. It is personal. It is direct. It is accountable. Where was her voice when residents cried out about the cost of living? Where was the urgency when young couples couldn't afford homes near their parents' home? Where was the strength when our seniors who gave their lives to this country now worry about outliving their savings? I have walked your blocks. I have stood at your void decks. I've looked many of you in your eyes. And I've heard your stories. Stories of stress, of silent struggles, of being left behind. So let me tell you now, I will not just visit, I will stand with you. I will not just listen, I will act. I will not just manage, I will challenge the systems that hold you down. Because Marymount doesn't need more maintenance. It needs renewal. We don't need smiles on posters. We need a voice in Parliament. One that speaks truth to power. One that asks the hard questions. One that demands better. Honestly, how often have you heard Ms. Gan speak for you in Parliament? This election, I'm not offering token schemes or shiny headlines. I'm fighting for a real safety net for our seniors, a job market that prioritizes our local talents, our people. A fairer, a more balanced education system. And speaking of fairness in our education system, you might have heard a recent proposal made by a PAP MP. He suggested that degrees from our local universities should come with a 5-year expiry date. Yes, you heard it right. Your hard-earned degree, after years of sweat and sacrifice and study, would become just a worthless piece of paper after 5 years. As a local graduate from NUS myself, I was deeply insulted by this suggestion. Education in Singapore is already incredibly stressful. Do we really want our young people to live in fear that every 5 years they'll have to prove their worth all over again? Do you know who made that proposal? It was one of the PAP candidates right here in West Coast, Jurong West. Well, later he backtracked. He said, I only wanted to draw attention to lifelong learning. He says, let's put a 5-year timestamp on your degrees. I say, let's put a 5-year timestamp on his term in Parliament. His 5 years are up. Let's take his advice and help him graduate from Parliament on polling day. Let me be frank with you. I may not have all the resources of the ruling party, but I have something far stronger. I have the will to fight for you. And so I ask for your belief, your courage, your voice. Let us build a Marymount and a Singapore where policies are not written in ivory towers, but born from real pain, real people, and real problems. Where leadership is not about appearances, but about showing up day after day. Let us remind those in power, Singapore belongs to her people, not just her planners. Tonight, I urge you to support Dr. Tan, Hazel, Manwai, Sunny, Lakey, here in West Coast, Jurong West. But also support our voices in Marymount, Choa Chu Kang, Pioneer, Kebun Baru, and Bukit Gombak. Because this is bigger than one SMC or GRC. This is about the soul of Singapore. This is the real Majula Marymount. This is the real Majula West Coast Jurong West. The real Majula Singapura. Vote for the courage to care. Vote for Progress for All. Vote for Progress Singapore Party.
Ladies and gentlemen, let us welcome our second speaker for tonight. He's an entrepreneur and business chamber leader. He has decades of experience working abroad. He started his own camera production company in Shenzhen, China, and lived there for 12 years. He was formerly the Secretary General of the Singapore Manufacturing Federation. Please put your hands together to welcome Lawrence Peck.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you for coming out tonight. I'm Lawrence Peck. Thank you very much. I want to thank the Prime Minister, the Manpower Minister, and Jeffrey. For over the last 10 days, they have brought great awareness, educated all of us on the fundamentals, a great discussion, contestation on the universal minimum wage. They have brought it up. Now we know what it is and why we should study it. I would like to clarify, under no uncertain circumstances did I ask for the abolishment of the progressive wage model. During my time in the Federation, I spoke for it. I understand it. It's about productivity. It's about doing things a little bit better. It's about doing things faster. However, I have to tell everyone, that it is not a binary choice. It's not an either or. We should start the feasibility study of the universal minimum wage because we can do it. 30 out of the 38 OECD countries have a universal minimum wage. As the Manpower Minister, I asked the Minister Tan, Dr. Tan, that he should ask the local workforce if they would like to have a universal minimum wage in Singapore. Over the last 10 days, we have achieved clarity, we have achieved courage, and God willing, we would possibly have achieved change. I would like to talk a little bit about change, and that is something that it is time for us to vote for now. This general election, in 48 hours' time, we have to vote. We go to the polls. If you believe that that organization, that is the PAP, that forms the government, that they will change, they say that they will change, I'm telling you that you'll be sorely disappointed. Why should they? If they don't have to, why should they? 如果你唔俾佢呢個原因，佢點解要改？佢唔使改。點解要改？星期六俾佢呢個原因，星期六俾佢哋知道，星期六俾佢哋聽到，俾我哋 PSP 聽到你嘅聲音，你嘅心聲，我哋要知道，啱唔啱？係唔係咁樣？最緊要嘅，除咗我哋知道以外，俾佢哋聽到，俾政府聽到，俾 PAP 聽到，你哋嘅聲音，你哋嘅聲音，俾佢哋知道，呢個最緊要。佢哋唔聽到，佢哋唔聽到，佢哋係唔會改。今時今日，如果我哋繼續咁樣落去，我哋去到邊度？唔可以咁樣落去，真係唔可以咁樣落去。呢個最緊要。而家好緊要嘅，我想多謝 Choa Chu Kang 嘅 residents， 好歡迎我哋，我同我嘅同事 ，OK， 我想叫我同事上嚟 ，Wendy， 嗱啦，阿 Bus。多謝你哋，感激你哋，好照顧我哋，唔該晒 ，Thank you very much, Thank you very much, Thank you, Thank you, Thank you very much. PSP, 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 PSP. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Lawrence. Our next speaker studied engineering at Cambridge University on a Singapore Armed Forces scholarship. He served in the SAF for 9 years before becoming an entrepreneur. Over the last 2 decades, he has co-founded several successful and award-winning businesses in the education and gaming industry. He has also become known recently for his robot dog. Please welcome our candidate for Kebun Baru SMC, Tony Tan Lei Tiam.
Thank you. Good evening. I think firstly, I want to give a heartfelt thanks to all the volunteers, the PSP members, of which otherwise all this wouldn't happen. Believe it or not, all of us have pounded the road a lot. I understand that some of the volunteers and the PSP members are still actually delivering flyers, all right, at this time. Thanks to all of them, without which this is really not possible. It's a long journey, but we are prepared to work with everyone who are prepared to work with us. Hi, everyone. Let me first give a shout out to the residents in Kebun Baru. We recently visited the Sembawang Hill Estate and noted a worrying number of dengue cases in the area. A banner on site reported 90. According to the latest NEA, that number has risen to 98. Other adjacent area has just reported 2 to 9 cases. In addition, we have alerted Town Council about stagnant water collected in disposable food containers on the roof of Block 115, Ang Mo Kio Avenue 4. Photographs have been sent to the Town Council. I hope the authority will work with the residents to quickly contain the spread of dengue. Fellow Singaporeans, you'll be voting on coming Saturday. the cost of living crisis affecting all of us will not be going away. PSP, Mr. Leong and Ms. Hazel have made contributions in the Parliament to alternative policy proposals on balancing the need for locals and foreigners in employment, balancing the need for affordable HDB price while not affecting the resale market. The government's role is to strike a careful balance in every policy it implements, not to make extreme decisions and not to act out of fear. For fear of losing Pongo, they put our point man in trade, DPM gun, in that GRC. For fear of losing some seats, fishes are given $1 voucher for 30 eggs, free bus service, $1 million developmental plan, especially for GRCs that are hotly contested. We are on the slippery slope. Are more money going to more certain GRC? Is our taxpayers' money being spent fairly? Michael Sandel, a political philosopher at Harvard University, talks about why we should worry when we move towards a society in which everything is for sale. Is your vote for sale? Is your vote for sale? The PAP says that their MPs spoke up and have direct channel to the minister. If so, why the price of everything keeps going up? Why the PAP MPs did not stop the GST hike, the SNCC price hike, and the government fees hike? Singaporeans feel the weight of rising costs, tighter budgets, and mounting pressure on their daily lives. The cost of living in Singapore has become unmanageable for some families, our young and our old. We cannot accept that hardworking Singaporeans are forced to cut back on essentials just to keep up. This is not the Singapore we built together. Dr. Tan Cheng Bock is always about looking after the people. To contain rising costs of living, PSP proposes hawker stall be charged a monthly base rent of $500 or 3% of gross turnover, whichever is higher, to bring price of cooked food down. 家有一老，如有一宝. An elder in the family is like a treasure. PSP under Dr. Tan Cheng Bock will review all policies that contribute to cost increases from manpower quota, import taxes, GST, COA, call on the government to freeze all government fees and charges during this review. 當今的政府做物件無小心，無好好想 ，simply 高卡做啥啦？政府講 sorry， 我哪會 IC 拿出來給人知？政府講 sorry，NTUC Alliance 做啥啦？政府也是講 sorry， 部長 Iswaran 做啥啦？政府也是講 sorry。I don't want to hear sorry. Sometimes it cannot help to feel the government is trying to complete a checklist, a task list. GST hike, done. NTUC Alliance deal, done. Simply go cut, done. It is not done right for the people. We should have more checks and balance in Parliament. Dr. Tan Cheng Bock has always stand on the side of the people, ensuring Dr. Tan Cheng Bock has always stand on the side of the people, ensuring they do not end up with the shorter end of the stick. Dr. Tan Cheng Bock has the wisdom and the knowledge from our founding years when Singapore enjoys great economic prosperity while Singaporeans benefited financially. On coming Sunday, PAP could win the same large majority with only a handful of WP MPs. PSP will be no more in Parliament. What would happen in the next 5 years? Continue rising cost of living, higher HDB price, more taxes, more vouchers? Is this the way forward for our future generation? Vote for West Coast Jurong West. Vote for Chua Chu Kang. Vote for Marymount. Vote for Pioneer. Vote for Bukit Gombak. And vote for Kebun Baru. On coming Saturday, vote for PSP to restore the balance in Parliament in ensuring the economic development and progress of all Singaporeans go hand in glove. Remember this, a government must serve the people, not ask the people to serve the system. Hy vọng您肯支持 PSP， 投 PSP 一票，投鄧清博一票。
I can see that the crowd is in high spirits. Thank you, Tony. I'd like to introduce our next speaker. He studied law in the UK. He worked there for many years in various roles, ranging from private companies to a governmental development agency. After returning to Singapore, he worked as an in-house legal counsel and is now the managing director of a condominium management company. Please put your hands together to welcome our candidate for West Coast Jurong West, Sani Ismail.
Good evening, everyone. Tacha Wan Shanghao. Salam Sejahtera. Anban Vanakam. During my campaigning journey, I am privileged to have met many Singaporeans across all age groups who care deeply about the current state and the future of our Singapore. In general, there was a common theme: the need for a government that cares and listens to its people. Just because of the supermajority status, the PAP government of today know that they can do what they like, when they like, how they like, and we just have to accept it. Do you agree? Do you agree that this has to change? In November and December last year, a PAP candidate for West Coast Jurong West GRC gave out fish to Nanyang residents, which he proudly posted on social media. And one of the postings he said, and I quote, "It's our way of helping with the rising cost of living," end quote. Giving out fish? Does he think we are cats? We are not cats. Don't feed us with fish. A responsible and caring government would have considered the impacts to its citizens before bulldozing the GST increases one year after another, at a time when its people were dusting themselves down from the effects of COVID and were trying to pick themselves up. Then they acknowledge that the cost of living has risen. They give out vouchers or $1 deals like buying eggs for $1, or in a particular instance, gave out fish. It's a slap to our face. if they are serious, if they mean business, if they care for Singaporeans, to tackle the rising cost, implement PSP's proposals on the GST, bring it back down to 7%, exempt GST on essentials. Do it. We need long-term measures, not short-term pleasures. Do you agree? A former PAP MP had said it was the policy of the PAP government to grow at all costs, no matter what happens, to grow the economy aggressively. People suffer or don't suffer, we'll worry about it later. They don't care. Come Saturday, 3rd of May, do you want to let your voice be heard? Vote PSP. Fellow Singaporeans, I had spoken about the 3 additional public holidays proposed by PSP, which included Thaipusam. In March this year, during the Committee of Supply debate, the PAP candidate for Marymount SMC rejected the calls to reinstate Thaipusam as a public holiday, stating that the current holiday structure was carefully considered to maintain social harmony and should remain unchanged. What was she talking about? I have no idea. We teach our children from a young age on the national pledge that we pledge ourselves as one united people, regardless of race, language, or religion. And then here we go, Thaipusam was rejected to maintain social harmony. Do you want to show them that we are one united people? Saturday, 3rd of May, vote PSP. More recently, the PAP told us that the government needs a strong mandate to defend the country's interest at the negotiating table. Firstly, what a strong mandate is was not made clear. Look, if they want a supermajority, just say so to the voters. Be straight up, be frank, don't talk in riddles. Look, whoever forms the government has to get on with the job of governing. Do you agree? When you go to the negotiating table, you are the government and your responsibility is to protect and defend Singapore's interest. No one is going to say, oh, you only have 55% of the votes. Utter nonsense. Other countries will view Singapore as Singapore, period. So I say, stop the scaremongering. And if you don't have what it takes to govern, give it up. Let the next better person do it. We are not short of people. Over the past few days, the PAP has also said that losing ministers could form a weak PAP government. Ladies and gentlemen, I reject this notion wholeheartedly. I feel sorry for the PAP candidates that are put forward at these general elections. The statement from the PAP, losing ministers could form a weak PAP government, appears to say that the candidates, new or old, put up by the PAP, are not fit to take up leadership positions. Then I have to ask, if they are not ready to lead, what are they ready for? To follow? Then to follow who? To be the yes man and follow the leadership of the PAP, or to follow to the needs of the citizens? Ladies and gentlemen, you know what? The PAP government of today is out of touch and complacent, which is why they could go around saying the things they did, even if it amounts to scaremongering. I have a question for you. Do you want to show them that they can no longer scare you or frighten you anymore? Show it to them on the 3rd of May. Vote PSP. Residents of West Coast, Jurong West GRC, I thank you for the warmth you have given me and my team during our walkabouts and door-to-door visits. Thank you, 谢谢, terima kasih, nandri. As you may already know, currently I am the managing director of a firm which specializes in managing condo developments, responsible for the management of condos which are homes to over 10,000 residents. Yesterday, I was invited by a resident in West Coast Jurong West GRC to see the state of the lift lobby upgrading works carried out at their HDB block. While the works have not completed, there were trip hazards exposed to the residents and other inconveniences, and apparently it's been there for over a month. While I was there, I also met other residents of the same block, all of whom reported the same concerns to me. The demographic of the block comprises of many elders, and the risk of injuries to them caused by the trip hazards are high and very real. They informed me that they had reported the matter to their MP and town council, but nothing has been done. I was also shown several more horrors. One, that the recent improvement works carried out at the bin chutes are already dilapidating. Two, unfinished works at the sheltered linkways. Three, leaks from ceilings at the common area when it rains. And finally, the rodents' burrows. And I was told that the rats come out to play at night. These to me are signs of an incompetent town council with no regard to safety, duty of care, and the proper oversight of its contractors. Simply botch-up attitude. From condominiums to HDB flats, safety is not a luxury, it is a right. And if elected, I bring the same vigilance to our public housing estates. I want to assure you that projects by LTA, URA, and other ministries within the GRC will not be affected if you elect PSP. Remember that the expenditure to fund those projects does not come from the PAP, but from your money, your taxes. The regular maintenance works like cleaning, refuse disposal, landscape, pest control, the general municipal services would continue, and a PSP town council would better and closely manage the provision of these essential services to the estates within the GRCs and the SMCs. Now, a PSP town council understands that not all equipment in the estates would last forever. Therefore, cyclical works like the modernization or upgrading of lifts in the HDB blocks, the repairs and repainting of HDB blocks, the replacement of fitness equipment or playground equipment would be assessed and carried out appropriately. Those are works which fall under the obligation of the town council in terms of general upkeep and maintenance. So don't worry, we won't be calling all it as within our master plan, unlike what I had seen the master plan for one of the wards in West Coast, Jurong West GRC. If elected, a PSP managed town council would be better managed than what is in place now. And I wish to repeat what I had said before, that if elected, we will study and explore ways how to make the constituencies socially and economically vibrant. My fellow Singaporeans, there has also been a recent narrative by the PAP that it is easy to come up with policy ideas, but the challenge lies in its implementation. I welcome that narrative, which admits that the PAP is not the master of implementing policy ideas, which is why we need more alternative voices in Parliament. Now, more heads are better than one, don't you agree? Do you want PSP in Parliament? When do you want them in Parliament? Ladies and gentlemen, who do you want? When do you want? Now. Who do you want? PSP. When do you want? Now. Who do you want? PSP. When do you want it? Now. Majulah Singapura. Vote Progress for All. Vote PSP. Thank you.
Thank you, Sunny. Are you all feeling good? Our next speaker studied law at NUS. She began her career as a litigator in one of Singapore's largest law firms, before serving as a legal officer in the Ministry of Law and the Ministry of Defence. She put her career on pause to be a full-time caregiver to her 2 children. She's now running for the PSP as our candidate in Pioneer SMC. Many of you would have seen her representing the PSP at the Channel News Asia Political Roundtable on Sunday. Please put your hands together to welcome Stephanie Tan.
Đại gia 暗暝好，我是陈芬妮，我希望大家投我一票，给我机会，在各位内面甲你出声，在各位外口照顾你人，感谢各位。新區嘅居民晚上好，我係陳芬妮，我好多謝大家今晚嚟到呢度，同我哋前進黨一起度過經選期最後嘅一晚。 但係今晚唔係終點，反而係先驅新嘅開始。我希望你哋會投我一票，讓我響未來嘅5年同你哋一起創造一個溫馨嘅大家庭。先區的居民，晚上好，我是陳芬妮。我很感激大家今晚來到這裡，與我們前進黨一起度過這競選期最後的一晚。但是今晚並不是終點，反而是我們先區新的開始。今晚在這群眾大會，是我這次競選中最期待的。我小時候住在玉郎溪第52街大排535，我就讀如郎小學。中學時期我搬到了文理大排260，我每個星期都會和我媽媽一起去 Jurong Point， 在4樓的 food court 吃飯。我在新加坡的西部的生活經歷和童年，是我選擇參選先區單選區的原因之一。我覺得先區是一個樸實而又很溫馨的地方，它就像一個中心地帶，代表着像你我一樣的普通的新加坡人。作為一個每天都煮飯做飯的人，我注意到居民需要走蠻遠的路才能到達18沙，而這對於一些老年人來說，提着重的東西乘搭 MRT 或巴士很不方便。先區裡的商店、超市和飲食場所也不多，除非居民都去 Jurong Point。所以如果我當選，我希望推動政府在先區裡建造18沙，也增加更多商店、超市和飲食場所。我以前是一名律師，現在我有2個孩子，是全職母親，也有人說我是家庭主婦。其實在新加坡做一位家庭主婦或者是志願看護者並不容易，無論是你是照顧孩子、照顧年老的父母，還是照顧患有殘疾的家人，我們做這樣都是出於愛，出於責任。我們沒有薪水，沒有公積金，也沒有任何其他的福利，除非有人幫忙，否則我們也沒有休息日，沒有病假。我們經歷壓力，精神疲憊，長期甚至出現健康的問題。因此我希望在先區裡成立一個看護者支持小組，讓我們在這段旅程中擁有一群真正彼此了解感受的朋友，彼此給予支持。前進黨在過去的5年裡，在國會提出了60多項政策建議。我們呼籲政府聆聽人民的故事，幫助人民應付生活費、醫藥費、就業、工資以及住房的問題。我希望先區的居民們在來臨的5月3號會投我一票，給我機會在未來的5年幫助你們在國會裡提倡前進黨的政策，在國會外，我要照顧你們，和你們一起創造一個溫馨的大家庭。 Good evening. Good evening, dear residents of Pioneer SMC. Good evening also to the residents of Jurong West, West Coast GRC. I'm Stephanie Tan, the candidate for Pioneer, and thank you so much for spending the last night of the GE campaign 2025 here with us. This night is not the end, it is the beginning to our very new start. This rally tonight here in the Jurong West Stadium is the one that I have been looking forward to the most. I grew up in Jurong West and then in Boon Lay, and I spent much of my childhood roaming Jurong Point. Although I have been told that this SMC might be a tough fight, this is the place that holds much of my childhood memories, where I feel most at home. I paused my legal career to become a full-time mother. I have 2 children in primary 1 and primary 4 now. I know how difficult it is to be a parent in Singapore today. Whether we are full-time stay-home parents or full-time working parents, we all probably experience guilt at some point about various things like not being able to spend enough time with our children because we have to work, and also thinking about whether we will be able to provide for them financially and give them the opportunities to pursue their passions and dreams. This is the big picture that we see here at PSP. When we, as a country, struggle with financial security, job security, high housing prices, expensive medical care, we become hamsters, running a wheel, constantly trying to just keep up to survive. We work incredibly hard so that we keep our jobs. In the process, we might neglect our health, both physical and mental. Our young stop dreaming. They stop taking risks. We all just want to do what is safe. As individuals and as a society, we stop thriving and growing. But we could all be so much more. This is why this election is so important for you and for me. This election has to be more about just voting for today. It has to be about voting for tomorrow, for the future we want, for our children and grandchildren. PSP's manifesto is a culmination of concrete policies which, when read together, create an alternative vision for what Singapore can become. It is a vision for a future Singapore where our citizens are thriving, confident, and are happy, where each person has meaningful choices which allow them to realize their full potential. We can see that vision and that future. And tonight, I want to tell you what that vision is. We see Singaporeans who are not burdened by a crushing cost of living, with access to a universal minimum wage, more affordable hawker food, and a lower GST rate. We see Singaporeans who can compete fairly for jobs and get access to good career, working alongside foreign workers and professionals, but they are there to complement us, to support Singapore-based companies. We see Singaporeans who can afford HDB flats in their 20s and 30s and have the confidence to start families and take risks. Whether it is becoming an entrepreneur or taking time to study and reskill. We see young Singaporeans who have more autonomy, being able to vote at 18 and having access to flats at 28 years old as a single. We see Singaporeans who can better balance work, leisure, and family life with more public holidays, a right to disconnect from work, and better mental health treatment services. We see mothers and fathers sharing their parenting responsibilities more equally and being less stressed about their children's education. We see Singaporeans who are confident and creative because the education system gives them more options and focuses on building not just their work skills, but also their abilities to communicate and interact with others to navigate complex social situations. We see older Singaporeans who are able to retire with dignity. Who are financially secure and ready to spend their silver years pursuing their interests. We see Singaporeans having a healthier democratic society for their participation and their protection, with reforms to the GRC system and how electoral boundaries are drawn. We see Singaporeans being enriched by a more diverse media landscape with reporting and journalism from more angles and more perspectives. We see a more sustainable Singapore where environmental impact assessments are mandatory. Now, the Singapore glass is half full. There are many good things that we must defend about Singapore. But it is time to fill the glass to the brim. We hope that you share PSP's vision, and we want to turn this into a reality. But we cannot do it alone without your trust and confidence in us. We decided to field only 13 candidates for this general election. We are a small party, but we have big dreams. Come the 3rd of May, vote for me into Parliament as your MP for Pioneer SMC. The 3rd of May, please vote for other 12 candidates into Parliament so that we can be your voice, your fighters, your servants to make your lives much, much better. Please help us to turn our vision into your reality. Thank you.
Thank you for your cheers. It's great to feel the atmosphere and the spirit of the crowd today. And before we introduce our next speaker, I would like to welcome to the stage a man who needs no introduction, the chairman and founder of the Progress Singapore Party, a man who is well known to Singaporeans for his courage and his sacrifice, Dr. Tan Cheng Bock. Please give him a minute or two to come to the stage.
Tan Cheng Bok! 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 Lại liao, lại liao, lại liao, Tan姐来了。来了来了，蛋姐啊，真多人真多人。Is it?来，尤丽莎来 ，PSP。PSP! PSP! 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 来，Dr. 丹来了，Dr. 丹来了。罗贝兹败了，罗贝兹败了。Tan Cheng Bok! Tan 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 Cheng Bok! 来，學 PAP 聽了，我人學 PAP 聽了，來，Tan Cheng Bok! Tan 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 Cheng Bok!
Thank you for the warm welcome to the founder of the PSP, Dr. Tan Cheng Bok. And now we'll proceed on to our next speaker. He is the head of packaged food and business development at a multinational food and beverage company. He's also the president and founder of the Makan Association, which has 8 Silat clubs and hundreds of students training at various CCs and RCs. Please put your hands together and welcome the candidate for West Coast, Jurong West, GRC, Mr. Sumalaki Amja.
Thank you.
Wan Chang Hao. Vanakkam. Salam sejahtera. Good evening to all of you. Welcome, Dr. Tan Cheng Bok. He just arrived to listen to my speech. Thank you. My name is Sumareki Amja, but you can call me Lucky. And come 3rd May, if not the 4th of May, I hope the PSP will be super lucky. As mentioned by Leon, I work in a multinational corporation managing the Southeast Asian and Middle East markets. I travel widely and I've seen many countries around the world. Tonight, I humbly stand before you as PSP's candidate for West Coast Jurong West GRC to be elected to Parliament to serve our residents. Some say the PAP has become arrogant. We, the PSP, we are here to promote, to serve as servant leaders, not servitude to the leaders. As Singaporeans, regardless of race, language, religion, socio-economic background, we are here in this country as one united people. We must help one another in the best possible way we can. We must send a clear message to the PAP that we vote as one united people. For this GRC, every single vote counts. As you know, every single vote counts. We need your help. We need your help to convince fellow Singaporeans, fellow citizens, your family and friends, your neighbors, your relatives to vote for the alternative. We need to convince our Malay brothers and sisters to not be afraid of voting for the opposition. We need to convince our Malay brothers and sisters to vote for PSP. It is in this context that I seek your permission to address our Malay audience in Malay, to share with our Malay community on how we can uplift ourselves so that we can move up the socio-economic ladder beyond the PAP's failed policies. Boleh? Esai be? Esai ya? Sia-sia. Kamsia. Para hadirin dan hadirat yang saya hormati, nama saya Sumarleki bin Amja. Saya adalah anak Melayu biasa, lahir dari keluarga sederhana. Tidak ada pangkat, tidak ada darjat. Hari ini saya berdiri hadapan anda sebagai seorang profesional yang mengetuai operasi pasaran Asia Tenggara dan Timur Tengah bagi sebuah syarikat antarabangsa. Saya ada ijazah sarjana muda kepujian dari NTU dalam perniagaan. Saya ada sarjana pentadbiran perniagaan dari UK. Saya juga ada diploma posiswaza dalam pengurusan strategik. Saya telah menjelajah dunia ke lebih daripada 60 negeri. Bukan sekadar untuk perniagaan atau pelancongan, bukan untuk holiday saja, tetapi untuk juga menimbul ilmu, pengalaman dan jaringan network. Bak pepatah Melayu, jauh perjalanan, luas pemandangan. Akan tetapi, saya berdiri di sini bukan untuk bermegah. Jauh dari itu. Saya bukan bongkak, saya bukan angkuh, saya bukan PAP. Saya berdiri di sini kerana saya tidak sanggup lagi melihat masyarakat saya terus tertinggal ke belakang. Jurang pendapatan antara kita dengan masyarakat majmuk terlampau menjurang, terlampau melebar, terlampau membesar. Cakap terus terang, saya boleh saja hidup selesa. Betul. Bagi teman-teman yang kenal saya, memang mereka tahu. Saya boleh hidup selesa. Saya boleh tutup mata. Saya boleh tutup telinga. Saya boleh tutup mulut. Tapi saya pilih untuk korbankan hidup saya demi bangsa saya. Saya ambil risiko untuk menyertai politik. Apatah lagi politik pembangkang. Tapi inilah pengorbanan yang saya sanggup lakukan, harus lakukan. Kerana saya cintakan masyarakat saya, masyarakat Singapura. Saya mahu Melayu percaya bahawa jika kita juga mampu berjaya. Tidak kira pandai atau tidak, jika diberi peluang yang adil. Kita perlu peluang yang adil dan saksama. Saya bukan luar biasa. Banyak lagi yang berkebolehan, tapi mereka tidak mahu step forward. Mereka tidak mahu ke hadapan. Mungkin takut atau mungkin tidak indah, saya tidak tahu. Tapi setiap orang ada rencana sendiri. Saya cuma tidak pernah berhenti berputus asa. Tidak pernah berhenti mencuba. Dan tidak tunduk pada sistem yang menyekat potensi kita. Never give up. Never give up. Sudah tiba masanya kita ubah naratif. Ubah arah tujuan negara kita. Mari kita tinggalkan naratif lama yang dah lapuk daripada PAP. Sudah 60 tahun, apa lagi nak ditunggu? Kita bukanlah masyarakat yang lemah. Kita bukanlah masyarakat yang menunggu belas ihsan semata-mata. Kita tak perlu voucher. Kita tak perlu sedekah. Ini politik lapuk. Cukup. Cukup. Lihatlah di sekeliling kita. Lihatlah ke dalam diri kita. Kita adalah masyarakat yang penuh dengan bakat terpendam. Potensi yang tinggi dan semangat yang membara untuk memperbaiki diri. Saya ulang, kita bukan masyarakat yang lemah. Jangan dengar apa mereka cakap. Kita boleh. Telah tiba masanya untuk kita menulis semula masa depan kita. Jangan tunggu PAP. Sudah tiba masanya untuk kita mengurak langkah baru bagi negara kita. Semua bangsa bersatu. Kita hanya perlukan ruang. Kita hanya perlukan peluang. Kita perlukan landasan dan keyakinan yang teguh untuk membuktikan kepada diri kita sendiri yang kita boleh berjaya. Bagaimana saya tahu potensi itu membara terang dalam diri kita, dalam diri masyarakat kita? Saya melihat dari anak-anak didik saya dalam lingkungan sahabat handai saya. Contohnya, murid silat saya, Nurin, hanya seorang daripada sekolah menengah. Dia bermula sebagai gym instructor Tetapi sekarang, alhamdulillah, dia dapat membuka gym sendiri. Bukan hanya di Singapura, tetapi juga di KL, di Kuala Lumpur. Inilah minda masyarakat Melayu baru, meneroka ke pasaran rantauan ke Malaysia dan selainnya. Contoh lagi baik. Saya ada contoh lagi baik. For the Chinese, please don't mind me speaking in Malay. Ya. I just need to encourage them to vote for us. Tepuci. Saya ada contoh lagi baik. Kawan rapat saya, Abbas Hamzah. Dia adalah pemilik dan CEO EduDebt. Ini syarikat Debt Recovery Scheme. Kisah cerita hidup dia lagi berliku-liku. Dia pernah bankrupt. Dia hanya graduate ITE. Siswaza ITE. Yang PAP selalu memandang rendah. Walaupun dia graduan ITE, dia dapat keluar daripada masalah hutang dia. Dia dapat tempuhi segala rintangan dalam hidup dia. Dan dia dapat membuka syarikat debt recovery dia sendiri. Tanpa bantuan. Tanpa bantuan dari mana-mana pihak. Jauh lagi dari pemerintah. He learned, my friend, he learned from his mistakes and went beyond to make a business out of it. On debt recovery. Inilah semangat yang saya ingin lihat dalam ramai anak-anak muda kita, kerana mereka adalah masa depan kita. Our youth are our future. Semangat api membara. Sejak kecil lagi kita diajar bahawa jangan menyerah kalah. Jangan bertanya kepada semua mengapa pula apabila kita dewasa, di sekolah, di kerjaya, dalam kehidupan, kita begitu mudah menyerah. Kenapa? Apakah punca rasa pasrah ini meresap ke dalam pendidikan, perniagaan, kehidupan kita? Why do we have this defeatist mindset? Is it because of system? Jadi, kalau kerana sistem, jangan kita tunduk pada sistem itu. Kita keluar daripada sistem itu. Saya katakan sahabat-sahabat, ia adalah sistem yang terlalu sering menghasilkan perpecahan dari segi kebolehan dan pendapatan. Social stratification. Terlampau teruk. Sistem yang menampar luka sementara, band-aid approach. Bukannya menangani masalah secara berseluruh. Seperti voucher. Tak ada duit, aku kasih 300. Apa hal? Betul? Biarlah kita jelas, masyarakat Melayu Singapura adalah luar biasa di Asia Tenggara. Kita dapat pengasuhan bahasa Inggeris yang baik. We speak good English. Kita mempunyai keupayaan untuk menyesuaikan diri di Nusantara. Taraf ekonomi Singapura tinggi dan kita harus menggunakannya untuk kebaikan diri kita. Thank you. Sepanjang hidup saya, dalam pendidikan, pekerjaan, persahabatan, saya telah bertemu dengan ramai orang Melayu yang berjaya, yang luar biasa. Jangan dengar apa PAP cakap yang kita tidak boleh berjaya. Kita boleh berjaya. Semangat! 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 Kita tidak senang menyerah kalah. Kita pendekar. Dan inilah sahabat-sahabat semangat yang harus kita pupuk. Semangat yang kita harus nyalakan dan jadikan lebih kuat dari sebelumnya. Masa untuk naratif baru adalah sekarang. Masa untuk merebut potensi adalah sekarang. Masa untuk bangkit adalah sekarang. Saya leci, laki. Saya bukan berdiri di sini untuk omong kosong, bukan untuk sembang. Saya ada cadangan untuk masyarakat kita. Saya ada cadangan untuk masyarakat kita. Apa cadangan-cadangan AP, PAP Melayu lain yang tak dapat fikirkan. Kita ada 3 fokus utama. Saya ada 3 P. Bandingkan saya dengan PAP MP yang lain ya. 3 P. Kita perlukan peluang, kita perlukan pendidikan, kita perlukan permodalan. Peluang. Yang pertama, kita perlu pastikan graduan Melayu diberi peluang pekerjaan yang adil dan saksama, khususnya dalam pasukan beruniform. Kita perlu dapat naik pangkat dengan sewajarnya. Mengikut kebolehan, tidak ada sekatan. Kita mesti dapat dinilai melalui merit dan kebolehan kita sendiri secara telus, bukan melalui lensa prasangka. Di sektor swasta, kita perlu wujudkan program bimbingan dan rangkaian kerjaya supaya anak-anak muda kita mampu bersaing setanding dengan rakan-rakan majmuk Singapura. Mentorship and networking. Graduan ITE, kita pula harus ditawarkan laluan alternatif termasuk menjadi usahawan. Renungkanlah kejayaan kawan rapat saya Abbas Hamzah yang tidak pernah putus asa menjadi usahawan. Apologies. Maka ini, saya cadangkan satu badan seperti TAFEP, Tripartite Alliance for Fair and Progressive Employment Practices, diberi kuasa penuh memantau amalan pengambilan pekerja bukan sahaja di sektor swasta tapi juga sektor awam dan beruniform. I've been talking to too many residents, hence the voice. Apologies. Sorry. Yang kedua, pendidikan. Pendidikan bukan setakat pendidikan yang AP Melayu selalu dicakap. Yang konon mereka itu pandai. Bukan. Kita tidak perlukan pendidikan basic. Kita tidak perlu kursus senang. Anak-anak kita perlukan pendidikan yang relevan dengan keperluan ekonomi seperti AI, data analysis dan sebagainya. Jika tidak sukar untuk anak-anak kita mendapat pekerjaan yang bermakna yang dapat gaji besar. Saya cadangkan Mendaki diberi mandat baru. Bantu pelajar Melayu yang cemerlang dari awal, sejak kecil. Bukan sekadar bantu kewangan, tetapi juga tuition berterusan, mentor dan beasiswa. Supaya mereka dapat pergi ke universiti terkemuka di dunia. Seperti Harvard, MIT, Oxford dan sebagainya. Kita mahu lahirkan pemikir, pemimpin dan pencetus perubahan dari kalangan kita. Kita perlu ketua yang benar-benar dipilih oleh masyarakat. Bukan ketua-ketua yang dipilih oleh PAP. Itu bukan ketua. We need to build our intellectual capital. Yang ketiga, kita perlukan bukan hanya modal wang, tapi juga modal sosial untuk mengubah nasib masyarakat kita. Saya cadangkan Mendaki diberi lagi satu mandat baru. Mungkin piagam harus diubah. Ini kita boleh bincangkan dan bekerjasama dengan AP Melayu PAP. Cadangan saya. Dengan menggunakan pulangan pelaburan dari dana Mendaki, that is investment returns from Mendaki funds, kita menyokong usahawan lebih lagi yang muda dengan sokongan nombor 1, skim microkredit untuk perniagaan kecil. Kalau pergi Ramadan Bazar, banyak anak-anak muda kita yang membuat perniagaan. Yang nombor 2, dana ala venture capital untuk startup berpotensi tinggi. Ini dapat membantu anak-anak kita berkembang ke Nusantara. Saudara-saudari sekalian, saya tidak berjanji bulan dan bintang. Tapi saya berjanji saya tidak akan sombong. Saya tidak akan tidur di parlimen. Saya tidak akan diam apabila masyarakat kita dikecam. Kita ada maruah. Dengan itu, sahabat-sahabat Melayu, sahabat-sahabat kita, ingatlah, undi anda adalah rahsia, jangan takut dengan PAP. Kita perlu undi sebagai satu kaum masyarakat Singapura. Unity for all. Unity for all, regardless of race, language or religion. We are one united Singapore people. Ini kalilah, undilah PSP. Vote for progress for all. Vote for PSP!
Terima kasih, Leki. Ladies and gentlemen, our next speaker was an overseas merit scholarship recipient who studied at the University of Cambridge. She worked in the administrative service of the civil service before leaving to start a chain of private education centers with her husband, Tony. She was our non-constituency member of parliament in the last parliament and brought up many issues that touch your lives, such as the cost of living, housing, education, and good governance. Please welcome the one and only Hazel Poa.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Good evening and happy Labor Day. Today, let us express our appreciation to all the workers in Singapore, past and present, for the contributions that they have made to Singapore's development. Thank you. Thank you for coming to our final rally tonight. My husband is here. Okay, first, let me deal with some unfinished business from the campaign. And that is relating to the harassment incident involving PAP and PSP volunteers in Bukit Gombak on 4th January 2025, which our volunteers have started to call Gombak Gate. Now, more than a month ago, we have been informed by police that their investigations have been completed and they have handed over their investigation results to the Attorney General's chambers. 5 days ago, at our rally at Bukit Gombak, I called on the government to release the result of the police investigation. A member of PSP has allegations of assault hanging over him, and we would like his name to be cleared. But we heard nothing. So at yesterday's media interview, I again asked for the result of the investigation. Tonight is the last day for campaigning, and we have still heard nothing. Since investigations has been completed and serious allegations about PSP volunteers' conduct have been made, it is only fair that the results must be released before voters go to the ballot in 2 days' time. PSP has nothing to hide. Does PAP? If we still hear nothing from the police or AGC, Dear Singaporeans, we will have to ask you to draw your own conclusions and to perhaps give the opposition the benefit of the doubt in future. If PAP had not made allegations of slapping that they were unable to substantiate, if it had merely been allegations of who started the misbehavior, I think that this situation for PSP will be a lot murkier. In a situation of your word against mine, opposition does not have the upper hand. In the last 2 days, there have been reports that plans to disrupt a PSP walkabout in Taman Jurong were discussed in a WhatsApp group linked to grassroots volunteers supporting PAP candidate Sean Huang. The media contacted us to ask questions about this. They wanted us to tell them whether or not the disruption actually happened. But we don't know. There is no way for us to tell whether or not a person talking to us is genuine or trying to misinform or just take up our time. The most direct and effective way is to ask Mr. Sean Huang. So here, I would like to ask Mr. Sean Huang to please clarify for the media and the public whether or not it is true that his volunteers planned to disrupt PSP's outreach in Taman Jurong and whether it was executed. Since the first generation leaders, PAP has always prided itself in the integrity of their politicians. I hope that this pride is warranted and can be upheld. Next, I would like to talk about an issue that is close to our hearts, housing. Minister Desmond Lee has been the Minister for National Development since the last general election in 2020. What has been his track record? Minister Desmond Lee has claimed that PSP makes assertions with little regard for facts. So let me present the facts and figures to West Coast, Jurong West voters and all Singaporeans. Over the 5-year period from 2021 to 2025, HDB launched over 100,000 flats, or an average of 20,000 flats per year. Minister Desmond Lee has declared that the delays due to the pandemic had all been cleared, and that in the next 2 years, from 2026 to 2027, about 15,000 flats will be built. Is this enough? Let us look at the number of marriages in Singapore. There are about 24,000 citizen marriages in Singapore every year. How can 15,000 new flats cater to 24,000 marriages? Does somebody need math lessons? On top of that, we have about 20,000 new citizens every year. Those unable to get a BTO flat will be pushed towards the resale market, contributing to higher and higher resale prices. Do you really think that PAP is incapable of building more flats? 40 years ago, from 1981 to 1985, HDB built 189,000 flats. That's an average of 38,000 flats a year. Now the government has a lot more resources than it did in 1980s. Do you think it cannot build more than 15,000 flats? This is less than half the number they were building back in the 80s. Now, for argument's sake, if we accept that the government is unable to build more than 15,000 flats a year, then don't you think that they shouldn't be bringing in so many new citizens every year and add on to our housing demand? The duty of any government should always be to its own citizens first. And housing is a fundamental need. The government must always meet the housing needs of its citizens first. Either they build more flats or they slow down the intake of new citizens. Isn't that logical? The issue of long waiting time has always been around. And when the government measures waiting time, it measures the time from successful booking to the point of key collection. It does not include the time when couples apply for flats but were unsuccessful. So the waiting time as published by the government is shorter than the waiting time actually experienced by couples. Recently, MND started building shorter waiting time flats in a departure from BTO, but at a very slow pace. Even though such flats can be built, the government will only be building about 4,000 shorter waiting time flats per year from 2025 to 2027. This is hugely inadequate. The government can be more aggressive about building flats with shorter waiting times so that our young couples can start families earlier. Enough about supplies, let's talk prices. Minister Desmond Lee has been assuring Singaporeans that HDB flats are affordable. But every time we walk the ground, the feedback is always that HDB flats are too expensive. Why is there such a gap between Minister Lee's perception and that of ordinary Singaporeans? Is he getting different feedback, or does he trust his own numbers more? Minister Desmond Lee has shown graphs comparing the trends of median wages to the price of 4-room BTO flats in non-mature estates to justify his view that HDB flats are affordable. But not everybody buys 4-room BTO flats in non-mature estates. Some BTOs are in mature estates which are priced much higher. And since the number of BTOs on sale each year is not enough to meet demand, some will have to buy on the resale market. And we all know what resale prices are like now, right? In 2019 to third quarter of 2021, close to 1/3 of the first-timers buy from the resale market. So if we only compare wages with prices of BTOs in non-mature estates, the comparison is incomplete and thus misleading. Minister Lee has also shown calculations of how the housing installments can be paid fully or almost fully from CPF. Again, these illustrations do not use prices in the resale market, and they do not show how our retirement savings are reduced when we use so much of our CPF savings to pay for our flats over 25 years. From 2020 to 2025, over a 5-year period, resale prices have risen by 53%. Despite all the cooling measures, it has risen relentlessly. A few years ago, the minister explained to us that the rapid rise in resale prices is due to construction delays caused by the pandemic, causing a surge in demand for resale flats. But now that we have cleared the construction delays, resale prices are still rising. While resale prices rose by more than 50%, wages rose only by about 21%. This disparity shows the undersupply of new flats. Now, when resale prices increase, it affects not only those who buy resale flats, but all of us. Why? When resale price increase, the value of land increases, and HDB needs to pay FLA a higher amount to pay for the land it buys for building HDB flats. And then that means that the government needs to give a higher subsidy to HDB so that they can pay for the pricier land. Where does this subsidy come from? From taxpayers. It comes from GST, income tax, property tax, etc. Last financial year, the amount of government grants to HDB is $6.8 billion, which is equivalent to about 3 to 4% GST. If resale prices continue to rise, this grant will have to rise as well, and more tax revenue will be needed to pay for it. In summary, under the PAP's current system, when resale prices rise, our tax burden rises too. So why doesn't the minister build more flats? It is just a matter of whether they have the political will to do so. So if you think that HDB prices are too expensive, you have to give them the political will to do so through your votes. If Minister Lee believes in his numbers, then you have to give him new numbers in reduced votes. Now let us talk about the lease decay issue. The fact that HDB flat value goes to zero at the end of 99 years. After so much CPF savings have gone into it, the government said they would address the problem through verse. That was 8 years ago. Yeah, you're right. Wait long. Until today, no details have been given despite the opposition asking for it many times. Why do you think that is so? Is the PAP so inefficient that 8 years is not enough time for them to work out the details? Or is it because PAP thinks that the voters are not going to like it? When PSP proposed our affordable home scheme, where buyers of new flats are not charged the land cost unless and until they sell the flat on the resale market, PAP claimed that our proposal is a raid on the reserves. I tried to reason with them in Parliament. I said, since the land returns to government after 99 years, there is no loss in reserves after 99 years. So how can this be a raid on the reserves? They replied that it is a raid on reserves because the law defines it so. I was astounded. Now, even laws must have good basis. If the basis is not sound, then it is not a good law and should be changed. Furthermore, as parliamentarians, they are lawmakers. It is their duty to make and amend laws as appropriate. Now, I can understand the basis for this law back in those days when they sell land on freehold. Once you sell it, the land is gone forever. It does not return to government. So yes, it will be a loss in reserves if we do not collect sales proceeds and put that into the reserves. But now, land are sold on leasehold, 20 years to 99-year lease, after which it returns to government. The situation has changed, and the law should be changed to reflect that. So in future, if you hear the PAP say again that our proposal is raiding the reserve, please understand that it is a technicality, not in essence. And while they accuse us of raiding the reserve by not collecting land costs, they omitted to mention that when HDB was first introduced, the first generation leaders also did not include land cost in the HDB price. Now, PAP also said that if you vote for opposition, they could lose ministers. But look at Minister Ong Ye Kong. He lost in GE2011 in Aljunied GRC, but he was brought back at the next election through a different GRC. So do not worry for PAP. Worry about ordinary Singaporeans instead. Now, on nomination day, PSP candidates invited our opponents to a debate on national policies. However, Minister Lee declined to engage us and instead wanted to focus on local plans. Now, what does this really mean? It means that they would rather you care more about the half-price grocery shopping in Boon Lay than in PSP's proposal for basic necessities to be exempted from GST for all Singaporeans. It means that they would rather you care more about the $3 meal vending machine in Nanyang than in PSP's proposal to lower food prices in all hawker centres for all Singaporeans. It means that they would rather you care more about the home improvement programs in this constituency than in PSP's proposal to lower HDB flat prices for all Singaporeans. They talk about the importance of unity in times of uncertainty. But is this unity if we only care about our own gains but not about what happens to other Singaporeans? Unity is us, Singaporeans, caring about all Singaporeans and looking out for all Singaporeans. That is what unity is all about. It is definitely not about 100% PAP in Parliament. Dear Singaporeans, are we united Singaporeans? Will you vote for progress for all? On 3rd of May, will you vote for PSP? Thank you.
PSP. Ladies and gentlemen, our next speaker was also an Overseas Merit Scholarship recipient. He started his career at GIC and worked overseas for many years before serving as the Managing Director of OCBC Securities and now as a founder of his own private equity firm. He was also our NCMP in the last parliament. You know who I'm referring to? And spoke relentlessly and bravely on many issues that touch your lives. Please welcome the one and only Leong Man Wai.
Good evening, fellow Singaporeans and residents of the West Coast, Jurong West, GRC. If you have not heard us over the last 5 years, over the last 3 rallies, you should be convinced by now that PSP is a constructive party that provides solutions to your problems. And today, through Stephanie, we have also presented to you our vision for the future. Although the vision is not complete yet, in terms of policies, we hope to develop those policies further in the 15th Parliament. Before I go on, let me say a few words in Mandarin to summarize the things that Hazel has said. 各位西海岸预览系的选民，大家晚上好。后天你将会去投票。9天以来，我们还有其他反对党以及社会上的知名人士，问了行动党很多难题。我们挑战李志胜部长和他的团队来跟我们辩论政策，他婉拒了，他不敢来。我和我的同事在群众大会和走访选民时，提出了不少房价和主屋政策相关的问题。部长昨天发表了一个声明，他说主屋的课题已经在国会充分的辩论过了。他说市场会稳定下来，我们能够提供更多负担得起的主屋，但是事实真的是这样吗？我想请大家一起审视李志胜部长5年来的记录。在他担任国家发展部长期间，转售主屋价格上涨了 50%， 但是工资只上涨了 21%。 最近5年，街务局每年平均推出大约2万个新主屋单位。未来3年，行动党只说他们会推出超过5万个新主屋单位，这其实比最近5年的供应来得少。2018年，政府承诺会推出 VERS 来解决主屋房期归零的问题。过了8年，部长还在说这个问题 还需要仔细研究。再过几年，就会开始有很多祖屋的房期只剩下了40年或更少。这个问题要快点解决。昨天，李志深部长促请人民在本届大选投票做出选择时，务必考虑事实以及各方提出的具体计划。我也要劝请西海岸玉兰溪的选民去仔细阅读行动党对祖屋课题相关的计划。行动党党纲里对祖屋的计划和目前的政策其实是一样的，他们基本要延续目前的政策。目前的政策的后果是转售祖屋价格高涨，年轻人要等很久才能拿到 BTO 祖屋。我们的下一代为了买房子，耗尽了他们的公积金储蓄，这是你们想要的吗？西海岸玉兰溪的选民，请不要继续给行动党开空头支票。我们前进党的党纲里有很多详细的计划，能帮助减轻年轻人买房的负担，给他们更多住房的选择。为了我们的下一代，请在星期六投前进党一票。My fellow Singaporeans, we are only 3 hours away from the end of the campaign for GE2025. How do you find the campaign so far? The opposition has asked tough questions and demand accountability from the PAP. There is also active discussion on the social media. Even members of the public, like Mr. Tan Sui Che, have asked Mr. Ng Chi Ming, the PAP candidate for Jalan Kayu, and still the Secretary General of NTUC. He have asked Mr. Ng Chi Ming to take responsibility for the income alliance debacle. Yet, what has been the PAP response so far from all these queries and questions from the public? They have nothing. They've done nothing. Very boring. The PAP responses so far reminded me of my parliamentary experience in the last 5 years. In Parliament, the opposition can put up their arguments. They can also ask questions. But the government will stick to its script, which does not reply directly to the arguments or questions. During the campaign so far, the PAP has basically stuck to the same approach. On the GST, the government did not admit to the people that raising the GST not once but twice during the high global inflation was a poorly timed decision. It also did not mention the increase in the burden on the middle-class Singaporeans who pay for 40% of the GST revenue. The GST increases have contributed to the higher pace of inflation, which shrink the disposable income of the middle class and all Singaporeans in general. On the other hand, it has thrown up a red herring on the sources of funding if the GST hike did not take place. But I've highlighted in my motion on public finances in February 2024 that the actual budget revenues are much higher than estimates in the last few years. There is also room to cut other expenditures like the subsidies to the SPH Media Trust, the budget of the People's Association, salaries of mayors and other office holders. The investment income contribution from our reserve have also been increasing steadily over the years. I've said in Parliament that all these will be enough to fund the proposals put up by PSP. There's no need to draw down the reserves. We are not being fiscally indiscreet. On foreign talent, the government has consistently refused to provide the employment data breakdown of Singapore citizens and PRs to enable us a more accurate assessment of the impact of our immigration policies on Singaporean jobs. It has not answered our question, but stuck to its narrative that PSP is stirring anti-foreigner sentiments. And just 2 days ago, SM Teo Chee Hean said it again. To SM Lee Hsien Loong's point that losing minister would weaken the government, I would like to point out, has the government been weakened since it lost George Teo, Lim Hui Hua, and Ng Chee Meng? Could a weak government has raised GST during high inflation? Could a weak government have passed laws like POFMA and FICA? Could a weak government have amended the constitution to create the reserve presidency in 2017? The PAP government will not be weakened if they lose a few ministers, because the opposition will come in and provide more ideas. The current 4G leaders also appears to be out of touch with reality. Even our PM, Lawrence Wong, at his rally at Choa Chu Kang over the weekend, he told the audience, those living in private estates, landed property, you better prepare for more taxes to come if you have more opposition in Parliament. Another round of fear-mongering, right? Has he forgotten that it is the PAP that has been consistently raising taxes on the people, whether or not there is more opposition in Parliament? At a rally yesterday, Minister Ong Ye Kung said that instead of a strong opposition, what Singapore really needs is a strong ruling party. But these are not mutually exclusive. Singapore can have both a strong ruling party and a strong opposition. Singaporeans are aware that more opposition is needed. The minister is simply out of touch. Strengthen the opposition by voting in PSP candidates on Saturday. At a doorstop yesterday, Minister Chan Chun Sing. At a doorstop yesterday, Minister Chan Chun Sing said that a leader is one who will be the first to take responsibility and last to claim credit. Is he implying that Mr. Ng Chi Meng and Mr. Lim Boon Heng are not leaders? This is because they have not taken responsibility for the income alliance debacle. When we asked Minister Desmond Lee and his team to debate with us on policy, especially public housing, what did he say? Oh, we should focus on local issues. Like other ministers, Minister Desmond Lee is also avoiding debate and sticking to the old script. I think it is reasonable to expect the PAP to make a commitment during this election to Singaporeans on how it is going to deal with the three problems of public housing. They are high BTO and resale prices. 2, long waiting time for BTO. And 3, the lease decay problem. But the PAP has given no such commitment. Don't you think it's fair that the government, wanting a strong mandate, should commit itself? What is it going to do to improve public housing as one of the key policies? The government may say that it had implemented this or that measure, but have the three problems been resolved? No. Singaporeans should assess Minister Desmond Lee based on whether he has concrete solutions to the three problems. He has not announced any so far. On the other hand, PSP has already provided solution to these three problems through our no land cost scheme and quality rental apartments scheme for younger Singaporeans. The lease decay problem should also be part of the assessment for PM Lawrence Wong, because since 2018, when PM Lawrence Wong was the National Development Minister, he has been saying that we need to study how to implement VERS. But until today, there is still no sound, no picture. In his reply yesterday, Minister Desmond Lee again sidestepped the lease decay issue. But lease decay effect is already lowering the prices of older flats, and more flats will be entering the last 40 years of their lease in the next term of government. The government owes it to Singaporeans to share its plans for the future. Can this be a grade A government when it cannot even find a solution to the lease decay problem after 8 long years? The PAP wants you to think about local issues. But the PAP's track record on local issues in the western part of Singapore is also questionable relative to the development in the eastern part of Singapore. One Bukit Gombak resident told me the other day at Bukit Gombak station that the neighborhood has not changed much since the days of the STP's MP, Mr. Ling Hao Dong, which was some 30 years ago. In Jurong Spring, which Minister Desmond Lee was PM from 2011 to 2020, I was surprised to find what I call pigeonhole elevators at many of the older HDB blocks. These pigeonhole elevators are just enough to take in one wheelchair and maybe just one or two persons. As elevators are essential facilities for residents, why was this not upgraded earlier? Do you need to look further than this when you talk about local plans? The government can have 5-year or 10-year development plans for each constituency, but it is up to the MP to highlight what is most important for the residents. A PSP MP will see to that. West Coast, Jurong West residents, please consider carefully and think about who you want to represent you and speak up for you in Parliament. The PAP says storms are gathering, but in a multipolar world, diversity is strength and not groupthink. Accordingly, more opposition is what we need and not an overly domineering government. A losing PAP candidate can still be appointed as the local grassroots advisors by the People's Association. They can be parachuted back in the next general election in a safe GRC. But a losing opposition talent may be lost forever. West Coast residents, we are very thankful for your strong support in 2020 so that Hazel and I could represent you as NCMPs in the last Parliament. We have gone through 5 years of probation and is ready to serve you as elected MPs. To be your voice in Parliament on both national and local issues. When you're at the ballot box on Saturday, remember, voting is not an act of ungratefulness. You have supported the PAP unconditionally for 60 years. PAP is not the country. We are. Your vote for the opposition is about renewal. It is about buying insurance for our future survival. Diversity is the best insurance for long-term survival in this changed world. PSP stands for compassion for the people. Vote for us so that we can fight for more compassionate policies and realize the vision. that Stephanie has shared with you just now. Vote for Progress for All. Vote for PSP. For country, for people. For country, for people.
Thank you, Manwai. And finally, our last speaker. You know who he is. He's a man who needs no introduction, whose life story has mirrored that of Singapore. Please give a very warm welcome to our founder and chairman, Dr. Tan Cheng Bock. So this is the flag, and these are the key points.
Good evening, friends. Thank you all for coming. Tonight, standing before you, I know this is my last political rally. And I speak to you, not just in words, but with my whole heart, my whole soul. I thank you for supporting PSP in the last general election. We may not have won, but you have given us an opportunity to go to Parliament by way of Hazel and Manwai. They have shown you what the PSP can do in future. So, trust us. And tonight I ask you to stand with me, stand with us, and stand with PSP. You must remember, standing with us is standing for Singapore's future. That is very simple. This election is not just another election. It is a fight for our future. PSP has raised many issues. And we are not afraid, because we believe that what we do is from our heart, for you, for the people of Singapore. And we've looked into how we live, how we work, how we make our voices heard in Parliament. But if PSP is shut out of Parliament, we will hear no voice. Make no mistakes. Thank you. Thank you. I'll be still around, don't worry. You see, the first point we want to fight for is how Singaporeans live. Now, this is very important. We hear your concerns. high cost of living, jobs, affordable housing, amongst many other issues. And we have put up in Parliament bold and transformative ideas because, as I told you, we are not scared. The affordable housing scheme, mooted by our party, spoken in Parliament, reinforced by Hazel Pua, has been thoroughly studied by our party. But the PEP just push it aside. Let me tell you, to conceive ideas of this kind, we need support. And we got good Singaporeans, academics, architects to guide us, because we know whatever we plan must have the full backing and understanding of people who know that subject. So you got to trust us. Now we do this because we hope the young people can buy houses earlier, so that couples can start a family earlier, and so that Singapore can grow stronger, faster, and better. Of course, the PAP dismissed our idea. They tell us it cannot work. But who says so it cannot work? So we challenge them. Come, debate with us. When you call for a debate, you must have full information in your system to be able to take all the arguments and all the things they throw at you. And we have them. We are fighting. Tonight, as I come in, I was really very, very happy, a little bit emotional. Because at my age, I've never imagined I can come and stand before you and tell you what we can do. Thank you. There's something I always worry about, is that the leadership of the PAP has actually not changed. Actually, they are recycling. You know, when you watch the people that is entering into the political arena from the PAP, you get a bit worried. Because they're either civil servants, army boys, allied government agencies. They're always from the same field. Then you know what is going to happen. You think one way. But we will think many ways. This is what we call group thinking. And group thinking is very dangerous. Because we all comply. We want to please everyone. But here, amongst us, they know they can challenge me, although I am the leader. But that is good. Because if a leader is afraid to be challenged, all ideas stays, never expand, because of fear that the leader will either kick him out or do something else. But we cannot allow that to happen. So this, what we doctors call inbreeding. You know what's inbreeding? It's not good for our country. But it seems to not be able to find the right people to feed the role as minister. When they say they are worried that Ng Chee Meng is, will they lose him as a minister, I worry. Because on the one hand, they say the minister must be tough, must be strong, must be decisive, and be able to make decisions. But he didn't. That episode that was related by Manwai and Hazel, the alliance episode concerning NTUC, reflects the quality of that leadership. And you want him to be a minister, you better think twice. Okay. Actually, the second point we want to fight for actually is how Singaporeans work. Now, PSP stands proudly for the Singaporean worker. But we have been labeled. We have been labeled. I just read the newspaper yesterday that because of our strong stand for Singaporeans, we are considered anti-foreigner. Now let me relate to you an episode many years back when I was an MP in the House. I was your feedback chief. Now they call it REACH. But we don't want to use REACH. Feedback is feedback. What the hell you change? So I announce your feedback chief. I related to the House that I receive a lot of unhappiness and complaints about our PMETs, those working in the professional and many other, the ordinary workers, that they are losing their jobs. So I told Parliament that we must think Singaporean first. But when I say think Singaporean first, the whole hall was against me. Why they are against me? Because they say that I'm sending the wrong message to foreigners. But I told them, no, you are sending the wrong message to Singaporeans. So until today, I told my men, fight always for your people first. But also you must remember, if there are positions that our Singaporeans cannot fill, we have to take in those able foreigners. You have to be honest and frank about it, because they can contribute. But when they are here, they must impart their knowledge to our Singaporeans, or else they don't stay too long. They must leave. And a few days ago, I read in the newspaper again, Teo Chee said that, yeah, PSP is anti-foreigner. Actually, I'm a bit worried. Again, either he is not listening or he's in denial. And that is very sad. I think we've got to face what is the truth. And we shouldn't shy away from it. If you want to call a spade, I call a spade. I don't call it anything. Okay? So you'll remember SICA. When SICA, let me tell you, is Comprehensive Economic Cooperation Agreement between India and Singapore. I have nothing against India. But the agreement, I feel, make us at the losing end. We allow 127 people, professionals, to have game access into our working place with not much, what they call, the terms of coming in was too easy. That's why when we went into Parliament, it is our duty to discuss that subject in detail. And Man Wai took the brunt. He really suffered. They attacked him. They tried to call him a racist, but he is not a racist. Our party is never racist. You look at the quality of our men here. They are all from all races in Singapore. We are not racist. Don't let them label us as racist. Always, when I tell my members of parliament in the House, you must speak honestly. And we do something that is not correct, we are prepared to apologize. There's nothing wrong. That is what I call good ethics, good behavior. You know, at the last general election, we were quite close to winning. But when the boundaries change took place, they took away 28,000 of our good voters. And in place, they gave us 41,000 of their best voters. Now it is, when we saw the whole map, I told my men, drive me around the area. I tell you, it was a very big chunk of Jurong given to us within this short period to win the support of those residents there, their stronghold. But when I walk around and I greeted the residents there, I realized all is not lost. Why is all not lost? Because when I spoke to them, I realized that they were, and me, we came from the same kampong. I was that doctor who looked after that group of people who are resettled together with me to Jurong, to Teck Whye, to Choa Chu Kang, to Boon Lay. So I told my men, don't worry. We have to work hard. We go down to the ground. At my age, I'll walk with you. And as we go down, I realize so many recognize me. They call me. We speak a certain language which you all may not understand. It's a sort of broken Hokkien. So I ask your indulgence to give me just a couple of minutes to say in Hokkien. Now this Hokkien is appealing to those old patients of mine whom I look after, who trusted me as the doctor. So I want them to see me coming back as part of the family, to look after them, to treat them with a new, to be that member of parliament, I hope. So ladies and gentlemen, let me just say a few in Hokkien. I hope my Hokkien is good enough. Thank you, Tia. 我是 Dr. Tan Cheng Bok. 我顶摆是你的老公，我告恁人，伫啉酒港，啉酒港，咱人的股是变大，人是凊彩，我人无讲钱的代志，你有钱无钱，咱人无看，我人欢喜。所以人，我今暝来倒转了，就来倒转，唔是做你的老公。是好去做你的议员一日，恁人拢总搬来地道，你来搬伫即阵，我一句叫 Jurong West， 所以你若我拄着咧，含你拄着我，咱人我甲你讲要求你，都拢选阮人一摆。So ladies and gentlemen. My lousy Hokkien, I hope, can reach far enough. The convincing that sector of population now residing Jurong West, in Burnley, in Jurong, and part of even this area, to come and see us as a team to help them bring better life to this part of the world. You know, many people, they say, Huan Tui Tong, Bo Liao. You know Hokkien? Means opposition, no meat, no good. Let me show you the quality of man I'm bringing into the house. Okay. I have brought these people to serve you in the coming general election. Manwai and Hazel, battle tested, battle hardened, battle proven. So you can rely on them in the coming, when they are in Parliament. They have proven themselves. With them is Sunny. Where's Sunny? Sunny, the tall giant. Now, he's a professional estate manager. He can serve our town council with experience. So when you take over the estate, don't worry, your town council is in good hands. And we have Lucky. Where's Lucky? Yeah. You heard his fiery Malay speech. It comes from the heart. In Pioneer, we have Stephanie. Where's, yeah. Look at Stephanie. Stephanie is the mother of two. We persuaded her to come out because I saw in her the quality of a woman who can really serve those people in her age group and even older. She's a lawyer by training. She worked in the Ministry of Defense. She worked in the Ministry of Law. That is experience. In Kuban Baru, we have Tony. Where's Tony? You look at Tony. I always think he's a genius. Cambridge trained, humble. You saw his little toy. What do you call that? Robo-dog. Now, he is able to look into the future of our technology. Then in Gombak, we have Harish Pillay. Harish Pillay is another techie man. He was the one who will help Singapore understand what AI really means. Because it's internationally well known in this field. Right? Yeah. In Marymount, we have Jeffrey. Now, many of you young people are very worried about climate change. Next time you ask him, he knows more about the climate change happening than I think those people in the PAP. But you never know, right? You never know. But that is the truth. He studies the climate and he knows very well. So you see, we have a team of people with different backgrounds and experience. And that's, I told you, is important. There will be no group think. There will be no more inbreeding. And if you are worried about town councils, let me tell you, I was the one who started the town councils. And now, with the backing of Harish and Sunny, your town council will be very well run. You see, when I was the chairman of the town council, I didn't look at how much I got in my bank. I look at how much my men have serviced each flat. That is the criteria. So, I think as we come to the end of this rally, let me really ask you to think carefully, go back home and study my team, the opposition team, and see how we can bring Singapore and this area to another level of growth. I think it's... What do I do now? Is there? Thank you. Okay, but I thank you all. And I think as a fitting ending, we should recite our pledge. Okay? Where's the flag? Sorry? Sorry. Okay. I think we all come together. Okay. Okay.
1,
2, 3. We, the citizens of Singapore, pledge ourselves as one united people, regardless of race, language, or religion, to build a democratic society based on justice and equality, so as to achieve happiness, prosperity, progress for our nation. Thank you. Okay. Thank you again. Thank you. Good night. Drive carefully. Okay. Okay. Go back.
On behalf of Progress Singapore Party, we'd like to thank you again for supporting us all these years and also for the last 3 rallies. Thank you. Don't forget how to vote on Saturday.
So ladies and gentlemen, we've come to the end of our rally, but with your permission, we would just like to take a photograph with the whole rally crowd, with all the candidates. So if you could stay for just half a minute, we'll do that.
Take my photo,
Take the front part. The rest of the thing you have already.
Yes, okay. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for coming today. On the 3rd of May, please give your support to the Progress Singapore Party. Vote for Progress for All to build a responsible, effective opposition party in the west of Singapore. The candidates will now be going down and they can interact with you to some extent at the barricade or barriers here. So, but please do disperse after that in an orderly fashion and stay safe. Thank you. All the best. Thank you again for coming. Good night.
Thank you.